I'm pleased to introduce our Samrow branch, our candidate for West Bromwich West, Star Anderton.
Thank you everyone and welcome, and thank you for coming tonight. I've been absolutely thrilled to be asked and to be chosen to represent West Bromwich West in the coming election. And the thing is, we need, like Archer said earlier, local people, ordinary everyday people, people who aren't on 80 grand a year, to fight for them. They need people who are going to stand in the Houses of Parliament and understand where they're coming from. I mean, how many of us know what it's like when you've not got enough money to get the bus somewhere? I doubt many of the other politicians are like that. There's going to be quite a number of them who are born with a few silver spoons in their mouth, not to mention other places. Now, with all this, obviously I need your support more than some of the candidates would. So we're going to run this campaign a little bit different, but it will be people-centred. I think that's more important than getting leaflets through doors. I'm sick of leaflets. I'm sick of elections in a lot of ways, and I think most of the population is. So I think we're really going to be on for a low turnout. If we can get our core vote out there, we're going to get a good amount. Now, if we go around the traditional working class areas, places like where I grew up, and Kelly actually grew up properly because she lived in Tipton, I think we can do really well by showing that we are not like the others. I'm not wearing a sharp suit, I'm not posh, I'm not rich, I'm on benefits. I'm a single mum and I work part-time as a counsellor. Now, I know what it's like when I've got very little money to look after me and my son, and I know there's people who are in a worse situation than I am. They need that help and the support, and they need somebody to stand up in Parliament and say, hey up you lot, you're going to spending, what, £9 on a sandwich? Some people don't have £9 a week to go and pay for food where we live. And that needs to be got out there. They need to stop living in that Westminster bubble and see what it's like really where we live. Now, the current MP, or whatever he is, because Parliament's actually been dissolved, he's got 2 holiday homes in Cornwall. Have any of us got 2 holiday homes in Cornwall? No, we haven't. Why haven't we? Because we're not bloody rich. Because we're not living off everybody else's money. That's the problem with Labour. Eventually, they run out of using other people's money. Now, obviously, the other people's money that Mr Bailey's been able to use has bought holiday homes. And how many times have you seen him trotting down in the high street? How many times have you seen him at the local park or swings, or even just going swimming with his grandkids? No, never. That's funny because I've had exactly the same response from everybody that I've spoken to about him. He's some sort of a ghost, I believe. But he's a ghost that has a house here, a house in London, and 2 in Cornwall. That doesn't smack of somebody who's really going to understand the worries that people have here. The worries that people under these new rules of the planning, of all of these things to do with benefits, universal credit and everything else. How can he stand there in the town centre and speak to somebody and say, I understand? How on earth can he understand that? He's not got a hope of doing it. He doesn't know what it's like anymore. He's left us behind. He went off to that London and forgot us and just kept coming back every now and again for a vote. That's not good enough. I live 10 minutes from here. I actually live on Tipton Street. I will be here. I won't be swanning off to London all the time. I'll be here talking to voters. I will go back to the House of Commons and I will make sure on a Wednesday, whether they like it or not, usually they won't because they don't in council, I'll make sure I get heard. Because I don't think there's going to be many who are going to stop me wheeling straight at the Prime Minister. Don't think they'll stop me doing that. I've got to give it a go. So, my priorities are what are the priorities of the people. So, social housing, private rental housing. The rents are astronomical. Young people can't afford them. So having to stay at home with parents longer, and also older parents, we want our kids buggering off, we want our lives back. But we haven't got that, and they haven't got the choices. I mean, when I was 17, 18, you could get a bed sit like that, £25 a week. And that was a lot of money back in the 80s. but it wasn't a lot compared to everything else. Now the amount of percentage of people's wages, it can be up to over half to 3/4 of their wages are taken up just paying the rent. And that's a property they'll never own in the end. But a lot of those landlords are getting the rent paid for by housing benefit. So who comes out of it all at the end nicely? Oh, the people who were the landlords. Bit like Mr. Bailey. He's a landlord. He's going to come out of it very nicely with all of his money from his holiday homes. Isn't that wonderful? And what has he done for the people of Sandwell? What has he done for the people of West Brom West? What can anybody actually sit down and point to and say, he did this, it was good? Now, if somebody's been in power for 17 years in this area, and I cannot get anybody to tell me one good thing he's done, is he worth what you've been paying him? That's what you've got to ask yourselves, and that's what we've got to say to people on the doorsteps. 17 years you've paid this bloke, what's he done for you? Oh, nothing. Okay then, well why don't you try this time somebody who actually knows what it's like, who understands, who isn't exactly in the peak of physical health, so understands a lot more about all of the other things that every single one of us use daily. It's got private medical health insurance, gets it all sorted out. It's not like us, it doesn't have to go for a waiting list. It's not right. So my thing is really that I come from a council estate. I was brought up and born, I had absolutely nothing all my life. I worked and scraped and begged and everything to get to where I am. But UKIP haven't held any of this against me. They're the only party who've welcomed me and my ideas. Now, I suppose in olden times people would have said my ideas are more Labour. I don't think so, because I've got common sense. Some people say I'm more Tory. Not posh enough to be Tory, really. They didn't like me, I'm like one of the Sex Pistols, you know. They soon wanted me to leave, and I said ta-ta to them and stick your membership where it doesn't shine. And then it was UKIP. And they believed in me, and they believed in what I had to offer. And I've been a councillor for 3 years in Dudley. In that time, we've worked really hard. We've changed children's services around, we're changing procurement. Most of our things that we wanted to get through, we've got through. We've got the free parking in the town centre. There's all kinds of things that we've done to make life better for our residents. And that's all I want to do for you guys around here, is make life better for you and to be accountable. For you to know where I live, to come and knock my door and say, oi, I've asked you about this, what are you doing? And hold me to account. That's what I want people to do, because that's what my job should be, is to go to Parliament and say, oi, my people are, they're a bit peed off about this. What are you going to do? And to keep going back, and to keep going back. And every time they try and push me away, to go back and bite even harder, then they try, they will eventually get sick of me. And I will get the answers. I don't give up easily. I'm a determined old bugger. My body lets me down sometimes, but the brain is still functioning somehow. But the thing is, I've got passion, and I know you've got passion. And together, we can do something really good. Together, we can change the way that the government looks at things like disability benefits, benefits in general. Who's getting too much? Who is, what is all this stuff that they're going on about? Who's making money? Who's having an easy time on it? Because the programmes on the TV make you think, being on the dole is not that bad, you get Sky TV and everything. Well, you don't really. I've lived on 70 quid a week, me and just my son. And I tell you what, if it hadn't been for friends and family, we wouldn't have eaten for about a month. But that was it, we stuck together, and that's what I need us to do now, to come together as a little unit and go out there. And yeah, they might not like us, and yeah, they might not want to vote for us. But you know what? We're going to make a blooming big noise telling them what the others won't do for them, whilst making sure we tell them exactly what we will do for them. We will fight. We will not surrender, and we will never surrender. UKIP goes forward, and it goes forward with people like you, people who support people like me, and we work together to get the best results. So thank you for selecting me. I promise I will do my very best not to disappoint you or let you down in anything that I say or do. I cannot promise that I will not say anything out of place. We're all human. And if you do say something out of place and you don't like it, pick me up on it. Please do, because if you can do that, then other will follow and say, oh, I don't like what you said. Okay, let's talk about it. And that's the way to resolve things. Rather than getting all vitriolic and, we're going home, say something straight away. Because sometimes I am a thick-skinned northern girl and it might not even twig with me that you're a bit upset. Grab me and tell me, please. I demand that as much as anything. Because if you've got faith in me that you can come and tell me when I'm being an idiot, we're going to get along fine. So thank you for having me. And I think the next 4 weeks or so are going to be incredibly busy, incredibly tough, but with all of us together working as a unit, we can make something good. If we can get second, a good second, with a great share of the vote, will show how much this branch will do for their candidates. Next time there's election, I can bet you there'll be 30, 40, 50 people trying to put their name forward, because as Archer said, in that time frame, UKIP's going to come back, because it's like everybody said the Lib Dems were dead. Well, they've got a few the other day, didn't they? That they'd lost before. So it all comes in circles. We must keep the faith. I will have my faith in you. You've put your faith in me. Together we'll put our faith in UKIP, and we will tell them what we want. I look forward to working with you all, and thank you for giving me your blessing to stand for you.